Tonight we have a very special guest, and she will be talking to and telling us about what needs to be improved as well as what exists in the world of sexuality.
Yeah, I'm so glad to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
too. You too. I love
Yeah.
the way you answer your emails.
Really?
I was like,
No,
oh, I like
I
them.
love to honor people. I think it's beautiful. I love it's love.
It certainly feels good. It feels good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start the show.
Okay.
Okay, hi. Well, welcome back to Ckiara Nation. Ckiara Nation loves her guests, and today's special guest, by the way, Tina from Tina Heals is co-hosting with me again, and we have the most excellent, most beautiful, and wise Anaiya Sophia, ¿verdad? Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, yeah, I kept going, Anaiya. But I got it, and I'm happy. And I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to have Tina on the show again as well. Let's proceed.
Yes.
Tell us a little about yourself, Anaiya, please.
Well, I think I say something like I'm a storyteller, I'm an author, I'm a mystic. I'm part fairy. I'm very playful. I'm very spontaneous. I like to experience. I like to explore. Yeah, that's me. And I live in the French Pyrenees. So I'm in a very different part of the world.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, to me, it's a very special land. This land was once its own land, known as Occitania. It wasn't part of France. It was very independent. And it was known for being, because it still is, very heretical. So a lot of free thinkers down here.
Yeah.
And it's very famous for two really terrible crusades in the medieval times, when the Church of Rome was trying to extinguish a group of people called the Cathars, who could well have been the spiritual descendants of Mary Magdalene. But what we do know is there was a lot of healing going on down here. There was a lot of joy going on down here. There was a lot of freedom going on down here.
Beautiful.
And there's a prophecy that says in 700 years we shall return, and that expires next year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so 1321, a great prophecy was spoken, and of course 2021 is 700 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're gearing up for some change of events.
You know, it's interesting. That's beautiful, because it's time we come out of the darkness. I was just talking to my mom because we have similarities in with the whole independent, and we were holistic, and we were in holistic sciences and so forth, and we were in the Miskitu nation. Yeah, and then Rome gave away some of our land to all the other new 5 republics, because before those 5 republics even existed, it was the Miskitu kingdom. Yeah, so Great Britain was our protectorate, and then when the Panama came to fruition and the United States became a country, then we were no longer of use. So they created all kinds of things to dispose us from our natural resources. And what I was telling my mom was that people claim that we're an advanced society, and the only advancements, if they're advancements, that we've made is technological, maybe scientific, but even the scientific world is behind had they not wiped out and listened to the indigenous people, and that is all indigenous people of our lands. They knew stuff, and we would have been far more advanced.
Yes.
You know?
True.
Yeah. I agree fully.
Yeah, so that's why I'm so happy to talk to you, because I read your Return to the Sacred Prostitute a long time ago, and it's funny because I was like, wow, but I didn't have the show. So, and I didn't even have the idea of the show. Someone else came with this show idea to me, my friend, and so when I'm looking at it now and I'm reading it and I'm like, wait a minute, is that the same person? And wow, you're the same person. And it was Tina who sent me an email, and she said, look. And I was like, yeah, I want her on. So I wanted to you wrote that article, and what was most interesting to me was the part about the virgins. Can you tell us more about the whole origin, the original meaning of the virgin?
Yeah. Well, all of this is obviously coming from my own imagination. None of it can be proven, but it's what I totally carry in my heart as a very powerful, palpable memory. So, with the Virgin, what I understand, what I remember is that these women, these temple priestesses, these sexual priestesses, were so completely and utterly in love with the divine, with the source, with the origins, that their devotion was self-sustaining, it was complete, and when they were with a man, woman, or young person, or dying person, or pregnant person, they would just come as a representative of the source. There's no leaking, there's no pulling, there's no manipulation, there's just abundance. And when these ladies would have a little off day, because after all, we are just human. So when perhaps the woman's energy started to like lower, and maybe she went into some kind of melancholic or nostalgic or lostness, and this is the bit I love, a female priestess would notice what's happened to her sister and delight her to come back to her full generous nature.
Wonderful.
And what I love about it is that it felt so clean, so vertical, but so powerful, so transformative, so like a fiery phoenix. So that's my memory.
Okay, well, your memory, as far as I'm concerned, has a lot of validity to it, because as I was explaining to Tina when I first met her, is that when I first got into the adult industry and the sex industry, I was pulling in different areas and just tasting and smelling, because I had a whole idea. I had another energy of what true sexuality is, and it's a ritual, and it's the whole process. It's not just here, I'm going to do it, but I had to go taste a little bit of everything, almost to bring my memory back to what I know it is. It's like a knowing. Yes. Something something you cannot prove or whatever, but there's a knowing inside of you. And it's amazing because, by going through that 10 years later, 11 or 12 years later, I was able to master, and I'm still mastering, I'm still learning more, but I was able to harness that energy and master it and be able to place it and move it and bring it to the people that I do see. So I completely, I agree with you.
Oh, I remember when I started to share these memories with my friends who know me really, really well. And obviously I was quite keen to sort of step into that role of temple priestess.
Mm-hmm.
But, confession time, I'm not really a very potent sexual woman. My thing is kind of like joy and innocence. So there's no point me parading around, really bringing through that delicious Shakti energy. I couldn't pull it off. So I was saying to my nearest and dearest, wow, I can't wait to step into this. And they were saying, Anaiya, but it's not you. Your role is the center. Your role is like the high priestess. And I said, are you saying I'm a madam? And they all just kind of went, yeah. Because that was the vision I had. I had a vision that there was an older woman literally sat in the center of the temple in a very profound, meditative, prayerful, trance-like state, and sort of like inwardly managing and moving everything. And all around her was the activity. And I realize now, yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's wonderful. Tina had she just did a thing on Virgo, and she was talking about the virgins. Tell us a little bit about that, Tina.
I want to straight talk to Anaiya about my connection to Mary Magdalene. So I have been born in a Hindu Brahmin family in India, in a Bengali family. So I honestly did not look at Christianity as a way to help my life. But I remember it was possibly in my teens that I came across the name of Mary Magdalene. And her All Saint, Mary Magdalene Day is 22nd of July, her birthday. So I am born on 23rd of July. So if you take the different time difference, I think it comes about to the same thing. So that interested me, and also the concept of Mary Magdalene as a tantric Bhairavi to Jesus, and not just as a tantric Bhairavi, but as an initiator of great tantric alchemy and stuff like that. Because even if you look at sadhaks like Paramhamsa Ramakrishna, when he learned tantra, he had to go to a Bhairavi to get initiated. So I sort of look at Mary Magdalene as one such powerful lady and a yogini, if I may say so, and like Babaji's sister Mataji. So I have a very profound connection with Mary Magdalene, and I have been channeling her in my blogs and on my videos, and I've just been doing a lot of meditation and lucid dreaming sessions. So I just wanted to say that, talking to you has been really nice, because suddenly I had, I think, found you about a decade ago or so. You did not have a Facebook or anything, and I was very interested because of your Magdalene connection. And then, out of the blue, YouTube just suggested your video that you shot in your home where you just moved. I think you did that with another girl, and I was like, not going to watch it. And I just clicked on it and I watched the whole video. And it was so profound that you're doing this work, and that your connection to Mary Magdalene, that to me is profound. So you are a yogini of the Mary Magdalene sect, and that to me is a very big thing, because I am also a tantrika. I come from a family of Kali worshippers, and like my family was brought down by the Pala kings to be the first Brahmins who prayed to the goddess Kali. Wow. So I have a very close connection to Tantra and Kriya Yoga. So Mary Magdalene to me is one such yogini who deserves to be spoken about more, who deserves to be, just spoken about more.
Beautiful, Tina. Yeah.
So that was how I found you.
I love your imagery, because you're your headband looks like a little gold halo. Yeah, you look amazing.
Okay,
so that was the best part about you, and I really wish you all the best in spreading the name of Mary Magdalene and being able to. Interestingly, Ckiara and me did a show with Julie Bindell on the birthday of Mary Magdalene. Do you remember that I even mentioned that today is the birthday of Mary Magdalene?
I did. I left it on the I didn't unedit that. Yeah. So I wanted to because that was the next thing I was going to get to, Mary Magdalene. So I just wanted to get your piece. There's a reason for my questioning.
Yes,
yeah. So I wanted you to go just to give us a little on the Virgo when you were talking about the moon in Virgo, right?
So the archetype of the Virgin is to me a wise woman who has awakened her Kundalini Shakti, and the Kundalini is the serpent, is the key, the prana that lies coiled at the navel. So to me, the Virgin is someone who could awaken this. In Tantra, you do this, when the Bhairav and the Bhairavi get together in a process called Maituna, which is sexual union. The Kundalini awakens. So the Virgin are these high priestesses who work with the goddess energy, and they surrender to the goddess energy. And these virgins have existed since time immemorial in cultures like Sumer, in cultures like Babylon, in India, all over the world. And I'm sure in indigenous shamanic cultures, you have women like this who understand the secret of the Kundalini and the sacral chakra, which lies just under your navel, just above your vagina. That is the place where alchemy occurs. That is your creative energy. So with this energy, you can create anything. How you said you learn to balance the energy. And when you balance that energy, the show came, the idea came as to how sacred this work could be, right? So that is what to me is a virgin, a tantrika who understands the alchemy of the Kundalini, who literally, when she sleeps with men, when she engages in the process, she heals him every single time,
That's like Marvin Gaye said.
And they do not belong to any women and any men. That is the key thing.
Well, they belong to themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not a choice through hatred. It is not it's not a because someone doesn't want a child or someone doesn't want a family or so forth, because a child can still be included and still be raised at a strong man or woman by the female, because it is
like a matriarchal society.
Wait a minute, it is the way of nature, and I'm not damning the whole family structure or anything. I'm just saying that we've come away from nature where we have women believing that if they don't have a man in their lives, they can't raise children and they can't raise strong children because there's no male figure. And I think that's an idea patriarchy put into our society, because if you look at nature, if you see nature is basically the mother goes out, she hunts, she does everything, she rears. The male of the animals basically just come and do their thing and get on to the next.
Just she mentioned, as she mentioned, that the joyousness of the whole process, being in love with the whole process of creation to such a degree that you do not need a person to interface with any longer to feel that ecstasy. So when Mirabai was in love with Krishna and she wrote all those beautiful poems to Krishna, Krishna was an ideal. It was the whole universe. the divine masculine in all his glory. So these priestesses, these virgins were in ecstatic state. Does that mean that they were not angry or upset? They were, but they could come back to balance again, because they were doing sadhana, they were doing spiritual practices.
They weren't holding grudges.
No.
They processed. Yeah, they processed, and it's true. And although we may not be able to prove or you prove your memory and so forth, I see it in my own workings, in how I work and so forth. I see it, and then I speculate, and I see it in other workers. And I basically created this show for a lot of things, because there's no real talk about just sexuality as it is a beautiful thing. And I'd like to help for this show to help normalize it, or for people to open up their minds and their hearts to it, because the more we're against our own sexual nature, the more we are against ourselves, because self-loathing comes from not understanding yourself and not understanding that why they call it the core or the coil, like she said. It's because all our senses, all our five senses are that. And if we don't understand our senses, we're going to have a really big problem, because women even have an issue with breastfeeding, because they don't understand what they're feeling, because we're so shunned away from sexuality,
Yeah.
Sorry, we've been talking. I invited you.
It's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Please.
Well, another part of the memory, as glorious as it is, comes the severity of it as well. My understanding is that these temples, this way of life, this natural, gorgeous, easy way of life, was taken away from us almost overnight in a really severe and ruthless, cold way. Sometimes people imagine that it was, the priestesses that were shocked and harmed the most. But my heart goes out to those men as well, because the men only knew that the way to find that God presence was in the arms of a priestess. That was their prayer, that was their forgiveness, that was their salvation. And so when that became forbidden and heretical, these men are just lost, coming back from the battle, or just, man's life is so brutal and so different to ours. And so suddenly they've lost their church, the body being the church.
Right.
So it was a very brutal time, a very big time of lostness and confusion. And then the church comes, and then the one God and the patriarchal God, and then sexuality is now demonized. So that's a very confusing message.
The original sin, and the whole virgin whore dichotomy. I think that Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary, the breakup of the archetype, the fragmentation. I think that's what did it.
Yeah, I just did a show with Katrina Sisowa.
Oh yeah,
she's a researcher, and she was telling me about the whore. They even demonized the word whore because it was HOR, and it was beloved ones. It had and it went from beloved ones to most hated, the most hated ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Continue, please.
Well, and then century upon century upon century, that kind of schism gets deeper and wider. You have spirituality in one hand and sexuality in the other, and the two just can't seem to find peace. And then you've got a really, really bizarre.
And the funny part is that the creative energy is the sexual energy. Yeah. Even in ancient tantric texts, it is the sexual energy is the creative energy.
Yes. Yes.
Because, you know, that if you do not know how to transmute it, if you do not know, it's gonna, you know, it can result in addiction. But if you know,
Oops, something happened there. Okay, please continue. She'll get back on in a minute.
Well, I mean, to come full circle, if you know, like your show, Ckiara,
I think,
you're bringing it full circle.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing in who you are. I mean, to look at you, to hear you. I've been looking at your website and seeing you doing your thing, and I'm like, wow, you are embodying this complete circle.
Oh,
That sexuality in all of its rawness, all of its depth, all of its wild and unknown and unpredictable expression can be fully in the realm of healing and blessing and transforming and mutating even. That it is this wild creative force that is good. It heals, it blesses, it comforts, it opens, it initiates. Boom!
Mm-hmm. Yes. And how do you feel about? I'm gonna have another show on this on Friday, but I really want to get it from you, and then I want to get it from Tina, because a lot of people like have invited me. Like, remember when Ning was really big, NING, the .com?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of people would invite me to their thing, and I'm just like, Miss Open. And they're like, we don't want you. We're not here. We're not here for prostitution. I'm like, dude, you asked me what I did. I didn't say I did that. I didn't even call it that. So what are you? Why are you inviting me? I put it. You know, you guys should have read my bio. I put in there everything, you know, that I'm doing. And this one thing that said, yes, we're open. We're spiritual. Ning spiritual something, and come and welcome. So I'm like there and everything, and they're like, get your ass out of here. Sex is, you know, we don't want nothing to do with sex. And how do you respond to people that said that sexuality is not a spiritual thing?
Oh my God, that's just weird.
Right? But a lot of people believe that, like 80%. I'm saying 80%
sexuality is a sin. This is what the Abrahamic religions have taught them, right?
Okay, yeah, but I wanted Anaiya to answer first.
What's the question?
Okay, so the question is, where do you stand with people who are like about 80% of our global planet, who feel that sexuality is not spiritual?
To me, that is an absolute contradiction and is completely not true. Sexuality, to me, sexuality is the great healing current. It is the presence of healing. It is the bed of healing. It can be channeled to heal profoundly, quick, sincerely, and with great depth and with great honor and respect. It comes in every possible shade and expression and an embodiment. There will be some who are very graceful in their application and expression, and there'll be some who are just full of that Shakti. And I understand that these little beings are actually born. And so you will notice that your little 2-year-old, your little 3-year-old is like, oh, because they are born to be a tantrika. And that might be very graceful and sublime and very, very refined, or it might just be in the body. And sexuality is just oozing out of that person. And it must not be. It must not be suppressed. It must be encouraged. You notice, oh my God, my little 3-year-old girl or boy is showing signs of being a master in some way. And the very best thing you can do is to guide that one to the right elders, the right teachers who will bring that gift to the surface. Because we all need a tantrika in our community. We all need one that's alive and kicking and available. And yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I thank you for that. And I hope that our audience is listening. It's so important because what happens is with this patriarchy and the whole this whole shaming is we shame that child and we destroy that child inwardly, and then that child goes out seeking itself because it has lost what it came into the earth with.
Yes. Yeah, I think this is the work of our age. You know, what you ladies are up to, what I'm up to, this is the work of our age. Is to bring this back into the public arena and just, just be steady, be committed, be disciplined, just bring it. And it doesn't matter what anyone says, and it doesn't matter what they say about us. We just bring it, because what else are we going to do?
Exactly. That's how I felt when sadly when the CPS, they're telling me just sign these papers and say that that you're basically that that the sex industry, that I'm in the wrong place, and like speak badly, and I just, it was weird because I just really felt like I would lose myself if I were to even sell my soul like that, just because someone was trying to make me jump through hoops. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
yeah, and a lot of, because of the oppression and the suppression of my own true self, I had to go find her. So I had to go through a whole bunch of things, but I'm glad I did, because I can recognize myself in others through, because even if I tasted it just for a little bit, I can see it and I can heal it, you know?